Hello, my friend. Um, Today, what I'm going to do is I just finished to building a very small modeling, which is the mobile electric power plant. This is a common things to using by aircraft carrier and to you can see a lot. And I just finished to painting and putting decals on it, applying decals on it, and I think it completely get dry, the decals. So now what I am going to do is I just coating with some some clear. Which maybe you can use this one. Maybe I can use this one. And if you want to make more get dirty, you can use the flat clear. But if you don't want, you can use the gloss clear, right? And according to the real world, I think this vehicle is looks very glossy. But to get more interesting expression, I can use the flat clear, of course. But I think this is very up to you. So before I get the weathered things in it, I need to pre-coating to the flat clear coat. So let's get started. Okay, I just finished painting a little bit very thin clear coat, and after it get dry completely, I can just start it with the putting enamel paint, which is pretty familiar with it. In this time, I use the white color put onto gray surface, and I put a little bit dark ground brown color onto very bright color, which is yellow, of course. So shaking very well. If you want to put a very plenty of the paint, you can use the very how do I say, I don't know, but it's really up to you. If you use the bottom side, you can put very muddy things. But at least you can shake a little bit well if you want. And where the hell are my painting brush? Yes. There is. So I just put or you can use the, this is I think the very glossy surface, but it's just fine. I can put some white color on it. And actually drying time is a little bit important. If you do so much quickly, the color paint is a little bit wet. But in this time, you don't have to wait so long time, because I just very a little bit. So you can start it with expression. And you it's very important things. If you use this one, you don't have to put I think more over 1 day or 2 days. It's very hard to get off. So you can at least you can do this before it get dry completely. So I think people should need to have some practice on it, and you just have some experience, of course. Drying time is always change, you know, especially in the summer. Get dry very fast, of course. And I should recommend you to use this one to you know when you're using our enamel thinner, but it's really up to you. I can use the Tamiya enamel thinner, but also you can use the very specific purpose for using by this series of color. So it seems to like very tiny dirt washing by the water or something. So my purpose to do this is something like that. And if something is missing, you can put, of course, again. So I can wait a little bit for a while to get more dry in this section, what I did. And I can do this right now using by this one to immediately. It is really up to you. So if you really want to make some line on it, it should be wait a little bit more. If you try to taking off right now, maybe the line itself is completely disappear. So I just wait for a while. In this time, I just doing the other things. Try to if you're doing this action so much, then maybe the surface will get more clean. But if you don't, of course the pigment will remain so much. So this is very up to you. If you keep clean a brush, of course the surface of the paint will more clean, right? If you don't, it's just controlling things, so it doesn't a little bit is fine. Okay. Alright. So the next is the putting ground brown. Shaking a little bit well. I think this is pretty brand new paint color, so there's many. ちょっと濃いかな。 and the brown expression is very pretty strong at this time, so at least you just put a little bit is fine, because yellow is very bright color, so if I put so much it looks more naturally dirty things. It will. So think a little bit is fine. So I put a little, very not much, so it get dry very fast. It has already get dry, right? And you don't have to put so much, of course. Something like oil stain or whatever. Imagine something like that. I think this kind of techniques I think that basically comes from the AFV background, modeling background. So if you're very familiar with it, it doesn't matter. But in my experience, I'm pretty, comes from the aircraft modeling background. So expression is always turning from that way. So especially what really should I have to do is this kind of very dark area. I should put a little bit darker. Maybe you can put black is fine. It's a very dark and shadow area, so I just and this is people put on, so it gets dirty more than if I compare with the other part. So in that time I use a very not wide brush. So I can use quite hard to get off, so I think maybe I put so much, so it's very hard to get off, but at least if you use the brush you can take off. So a little bit get dirt. It's a very, looks more shadow area, so upside down is pretty fine. And try to take off a little bit. It's a very strict narrow area, so it will take a time of a while. Okay, now what I'm going to do is some very little tiny tipping. And there are many ways to express the tipping expression, but in this time I can introduce you to using by acrylic paint. You can use the enamel paint, but so in this time I can try acrylic paint. So put a little bit, put some, and as you can see, the expression will more, over weathered right now. So, right, but in this time it's just fine because I can show you aftermath. So try to get a little bit over weathered. I mean, very obvious tipping expression. So it's just pretty fine. A little bit over is fine. Okay, and as soon as possible, in this expression, you cannot wait so long time because if the paint is get dry so completely, the treatment will not get a good result because the acrylic paint is much stronger than enamel paint. So using by a cotton swab and using with the enamel thinner, the acrylic paint is half dry, right? So you can easily take off, but not completely, but at least you can express a more tiny and small tipping surface. If I compare with the enamel paint, putting using bio sponge, this treatment looks more very small, right? If I use the enamel paint, when I use this one, of course the paint is disappear easier than this. So after the acrylic paint get dry completely, you can do this. But if the paint is completely get dry, it's very hard to take off. So the time is very important. And that's why I cannot explain so much in my tutorial like this, because the time is always important. Because I do a lot of expression while the paint is get dry, not completely, right? So you know, people are, some people are very busy, so you have to take a time. This kind of expression, which is need to get more time, is not suitable for you. So that's the point. Time is damn important. You can do this as soon as possible, you can, but it's very up to the weathering. I mean, summer or winter or whatever. So you can see much better, right? So continue to do this. In the corner. So close off. So I usually take plenty of time using by when I'm painting expression. So put acrylic paint a little bit over much is very fine. Oh, you can use the brown if you want. And this is black, so the expression is very strong. So that's why I just want to use this technique. So because I don't have a brown acrylic paint, so it's very hard to say this, but I should buy it. These techniques are always using, very useful for aircraft chipping tech. So I can use the new cotton swab, of course, and try to get off. Not too wet, not dry complete, not get dry. It's time is very important. So you have to decide to find which time should you do. So and if you don't satisfy with it, you can use the enamel tipping using by a sponge, of course. It's not only just the one way, so you can try to get more interesting expression. At this time, I just want to make a very small and very little tip, so I just using acrylic paint. But if you want to make more big tipping, you can use the enamel paint, which you don't have to wipe it off at all. This is the very small and tiny and very looks more natural if I compare with just only putting a very big sponge tipping tech, and I think this is very recommended. Right, I haven't finished tipping expression yet, but I can show you other expression, which is rust stain, using by weathering liner. I'm not sure if you can get it in your country or not, but it's definitely easy to if I don't, if I compare with the enamel paint, so to aiming to with some rivet. First, you just make a little bit line. You don't have to do this the whole rivet. Point to point is pretty fine. Right. And if you a little bit over is pretty fine. It doesn't seems to be very obvious. And then the technique is always the same. Using by a enamel thinner, filling with the cotton swab, and try to wipe off a little bit, so the stain line will get more accurate, and it seems more natural. Uncertain things become uncertain stain. You can see. Right. If you contouring with the enamel thinner, enamel rust paint, it's very hard to contour it. But if I use this one, it's very easy to draw. Right. On the other hand, I can use the same one. Very easy. And you can try maybe a red pencil, or usually I'm doing with the black oil raking expression onto my aircraft modeling. So it's very easy to contour it. And if you missed, or if you don't like it, you can very easily to take off. So. And of course the direction is very important, up to down. So the cotton swab has a little bit wet with the enamel thinner, so I think you shouldn't using acrylic thinner. I think that is very strong, it has a risk to the lacquer surface, so it's just makes more natural, right? It's just a very small and tiny rust stain. You can see it's pretty fine. When you are using this, the brush technique is not only useful way. You can use the many material. You can try it. So you need to so at least you can realize very tiny and small rusty stain.